Hi everyone, and a very good day to all of you. I welcome you all to this webinar on the topic, the growing need of financial modeling in the present world. I'd like to introduce you to our presenter for the evening, Mr. Ravi Kataria. Ravi is an ex-UBS investment banker. He's currently working on advising clients onto trust and fiduciary services, investment banking activities, etc. He is also greatly engaged in the fields of international trade finance and structured transactions. On that note, I request Ravi to commence the webinar.
Welcome everyone from Dubai. A warm and amazing evening to all of you. Dubai is growing up as a financial hub when it comes to Asia, and in particular when we look at the investments flowing from sovereign funds or from the local banks from there on, which are investing in the structured vehicles, etc. of the US-based or European-based banks. That's the kind of investment or scenarios that they are observing or making a way for. So it becomes inevitable for us to understand clearly what valuations stand for, how does financial modeling in totality works, because it's part of all the various wings of finance, starting from front-end investment banking to securities to investments to pension funds to hedge funds and so on and so forth. So be it a private equity firm or be it a bulge bracket investment bank or be it a commercial banking operation which is looking for offering credit to various businesses, unless a candidate is good, or we can say an excellent in financial modeling, they are not usually preferred. Okay, so a preference is always given to those candidates which are very good with their Excel skills along with their fundamental applicability which they have for alongside the Excel skills. So when these two things are combined, it becomes a lethal combination. I can tell you from my own experience that we have been hiring those people having a really good background for education alongside if they have worked upon some financial models like a valuation model, M&A model, mergers and acquisitions, project financing based models, infrastructure companies based model, or when it comes to leverage buyouts models, and so on and so forth. So what we'll try to do today is just touch base with the excerpt of the overall financial modeling. That is, we'll try and see and understand what is the financial statements, how to prepare them, and how to go ahead with them when it comes to financial modeling. Because financial statements form the base, or they are the pillars of the overall valuation model. Unless I have the financial statements cleared out, I cannot prepare my valuation, because that is an input, that is a premise, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so this is the agenda for our today's session. We'll first try to understand what a balance sheet is, or a balance statement is. Okay, in some countries it's called balance statement, in some countries it's referred as balance sheet. Now, balance sheet basically shows a financial position at any particular point of time, as we call it as on date. Okay, it includes assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. My owner's equity plus liabilities should always be equal to assets. Now, assets, when it comes to sectors, different sectors become different. When I'm talking about a metals and mining sector, the asset would become the ownerships of mines. When I'm talking about a bank, the assets would become the loans that have been offered. When I'm talking about a steel sector, the asset would become a plant. Okay, the plant which I'm owning, the manufacturing facility, and so on and so forth. So if I'm talking about an IT company, the assets would be like patents, human resource, etc., etc. So based on the sectors, you would have to classify how to understand the assets. And same goes with the liabilities and owner's equity. Now, owner's equity can be equity plus debt plus mezzanine kind of instruments, structured instruments, and so on and so forth. Say convertible preference or convertible debentures, and etc., etc., etc. So when I combine my owner's equity and liabilities which I have to pay to my outside business people, the debts, etc., okay, then it equates to my total assets. Now, basically, it's a flow in and flow out kind of understanding where my money is coming from. That is, my equity is being brought in by the promoters. Then I have got my long-term liabilities in form of long-term debts, term loans, etc., which have been raised up by me to invest into business. And then finally, we have current liabilities, which includes creditors, advances, payables, etc., etc. Now, this is where my money is coming from. Okay. If I'm not paying my creditors for 2 months, that means I'm using their funds indirectly. So that's why we call them or include them into where the money is coming from. And where it is getting deployed or is being stuck into. Okay, it's getting stuck into my fixed assets, my current assets like debtors, stock, etc., long-term investments if any made, intangible assets or premiums, etc., paid for acquisitions, and so on and so forth. So this is where the money is going or getting blocked. Now, this is how a typical balance sheet would look like. This is a balance sheet for LinkedIn. Now, let's build this balance sheet. We'll prepare this balance sheet onto our own completely. Okay. First of all, LinkedIn being a US incorporated company, they would be filing into SEC. Okay, they would be filing 10Qs, 10Ks. 10Ks means annual filings. 10Qs means the quarterly filings, which we are having. The 8Ks, etc., are for the specific filings, and so on and so forth. These are the filings which they have made over the period of time from the time they have been listed. The moment I click on annual, okay, for all years, I'll get all the annual reports they have filed in. Here we are going into the investors section of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn Investors Relations, SEC filings into annual, 10Ks for all years. Now we have picked up for 2013. Okay, I have already downloaded this file. There are various options, the HTML, PDF, Excel file, and XBRL. So we'll download this into an Excel file because why? Because we want to prepare that particular model. Now, this is how a typically 10K of LinkedIn would look like. Now we are going from table 1 to 2 to 4 and 7 and so on and so forth. But we are interested into forming a financial statements for balance sheet. So I'll straight away look for that. Okay, we are dragging it further, and finally we have got balance sheet here. Okay, it's a complete balance sheet which has been provided. It's into this particular format and so on and so forth. Now let's see how do we prepare this from scratch in the way we can use it. Okay, in the way we can use it for projecting our financials and so on and so forth. Yeah, the first and the foremost thing is, say let's open up a new Excel sheet altogether. Okay, now what we want is we want to add the assets. We'll pick up all the line items which we have got from beginning till the end. Okay, that is all the assets and all the liabilities, including the equity, and paste it into a column. Now leave 3-4 lines. That's how we should start. And say I'm pasting that into a B5 column. The moment I paste this, I'll use a shortcut which is Alt-HOI. Alt-HOI. That is for automatically adjusting the width of the column. Okay, that's in shortcut because we learn shortcuts as well when you're talking about the understanding of financial modeling. Okay. Once we have got this, we'll place our years 2011, 2012, and so on and so forth. Now, once we have placed these particular years, of course, we want to show them as in, say, FY 2011. So what we'll do is we'll do the custom formatting. The shortcut for custom formatting is Control-1. The moment I press Control-1, I'll get this window for formatting cells. I'll go into custom. We'll write into semicolon FY and 2 times hash. Okay. So hash represents a number which has been inserted inside that cell. And in inverted commas, it's for FY, that is financial year. So the moment we press OK, it is number at the same time it is showing FY. Now if I want a space in between, I'll simply put a space in between and show it as an FY 11 and 12, so on and so forth. Okay. Now the first and the foremost thing which we have to do is write that in 1000 USD. Okay. Or I can write in $1,000. Now the font, let's keep this on the lower side, say 9, and into italics, because that's how we'd like to represent it, onto the right hand side. Okay. The moment I've mentioned this for FY 11 and 12, I can copy paste the complete data. That is from assets. I'll take the 11 first. We'll use Control Shift down to copy it in one go, and then I'll copy for 2012. Okay, so simply it's, again, we'll apply Alt HOI to give it a proper spacing, that is Alt HOI, and so on and so forth. Now we'll have to neat the things up in the sense that if I want to give a heading to it, say balance sheet for LinkedIn FY 2012, FY 2011. Okay. Now we'll prefer a larger font for this, probably in a different font, and apply any standard color which we will use for the overall matrices. So we'll apply this particular color for LinkedIn. Once we have jotted down all the numbers, we'll do, let's not forget that this is a year ending of 31st December. So we'll simply merge these two columns and write as on December 31st. Okay, so this is my year ending. And of course, we have to give a different fill in for these cells as well. So now this depends upon the representation. If you're talking of UBS, then the colors would be different. If you're talking of JP Morgan Chase, the colors would be different, and so on and so forth. So it's completely based on how we are looking at, which presentations or details we are looking at. Okay. So the moment I have inserted this, I'll have to clean up the data. Okay. When I talk about cleaning up of the data, means that we have to use the same type of custom formatting. Okay, so I don't want this dollar signs here because I already mentioned it here. So I'll copy paste these two and do Control Alt V and T. Okay, that's a shortcut for formats. So I simply copied these formats at all the locations. Okay, because we don't want the dollar signs here, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now then we have to understand what all we have to include when it comes to our current assets and so on and so forth. So we are not going to write down the narrations, or as we call it, the descriptions, sub-descriptions as we call it, for the items. For example, in accounts receivable, it's written as net allowance, etc. So that is for this particular year. But we are showing the financials for 7 years. That is 2 years current, and then finally for the projected and the forecasted numbers. Okay, so that will be for say 2013, 14, 15, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I don't want this row as well. So in current assets, I'll include my cash and cash equivalent, short-term investments, accounts receivable, deferred, prepaid, and other current assets. This is for totally. So this has to come into a different, the color has to be same, but it has to be boldened up. This is the way to represent the total current assets. Of course, it's better to leave one line at the end of total assets, okay, so that we can differentiate. Now these are total current assets which we are having into the subheadings of assets, And further, we have got fixed assets, as we call it. So property and equipment, goodwill, intangibles, other assets. Can we term it? Yes, now we don't have to take the direct numbers. That is, we'll have to do the summation of all the numbers which are available. We are not taking, so I have copy pasted the formula here. We are not taking in directly. That means that whatever sums are given by the company, we'll not take that and we'll find out our own summations. The reason being, if you're doing for the projected financials, that's what we'll have to do. So this is a way to represent. Now for total other current assets, we'll take the total long-term assets, as we call it, because these are other than your current assets. And finally, we will show the total assets. That is again bolded up. We'll introduce one more line here so as to separate these two line items. And this would be a summation of long-term and short-term assets. Yeah, so we are getting same things, same results. The only difference is the presentation, the way we'd like to present it. Okay, and finally, we'll have our liabilities and stockholders, the current liabilities. Current liabilities would include accounts payable, accrued liabilities, deferred, and finally we'll have our total current liabilities. So let's bolden this up. Now, if you want to apply this, say, formatting again and again, the best way is to copy this and Control-Alt-V and T for formats. Okay, and then place your formula here. So the summation of this would lead to total current assets liabilities. If I'll include my deferred tax liabilities as well as other long-term liabilities, I'll get my total liabilities. Okay, so in this total liabilities, they have included the current as well. But what we'll do is total long-term liabilities. We'll mention them separately. So summation of these two items and so on and so forth. And finally, we'll have our we are not having any contingencies, so we'll exclude this for the shareholders' equity. Let's remove the note from here because we are talking of 7 years here, not just 1 year. Okay, in preferred stock, I'll exclude this line as well. Simply write here preferred stock, just nothing but 0, which is already entered. And I've got common stock, okay, which is again 0 here. So the formatting has to be in one go or in one line basically. These are again the explanations of the Class A and the Class B shares, which we are going to combine. So this is to be deleted. Now we have Class A common stock worth 4 and 9. So let's copy this and paste it here. Simply name them Class A stock. Okay. And then we have it for Class B. So we can name it 6 and 2. These are to be deleted. Control minus and Class B stock. The formatting has to be same and so on and so forth. So this is my additional paid-in capital, accumulated other comprehensive income, accumulated earnings, total stockholders equity. Okay, so the moment I finish with my total long-term liabilities, I have to mention about total liabilities. Okay, that has to be summation of the long-term plus short-term. Again, the formatting has to be same. And finally, I've got total stockholders' equity, just nothing but sum of these items. Okay, and again, the formatting has to be same. Now let's introduce one more line here. This is the heading, so it has to be kept in bold. Same applies for the total equity, and finally the total liabilities as well as stockholders' equity. So this would be summation of your total liabilities and total stockholders' equity. So this is how we'll prepare a balance sheet, customize it as per our requirement. Okay, why our requirement? Because we have to forecast onto it. And we can include further custom formattings depending upon what is our requirement. Okay, for example, this is FY11 and 12 are historicals. So I can mention, I mention FY 2011 A, that is A stands for actual. Okay, and then you have FY12. If suppose FY12 was projected, instead of A, I would have mentioned P. Yes, so that would have become projected. Yes, for if we have to forecast for LinkedIn, we'll go for 13, 14, 15 in this way. So I don't have to waste my time. What I'll do is I'll simply say equal to plus 1. Okay, and so on and so forth. And then simply change this formatting by stating it as P. So this becomes P immediately. Yeah. So this is a way to do custom formatting and still enable the cell to become the number only. And finally, we have got our balance sheet in such a format. So it has to be customized based on our requirements. The formatting extra has to be similar or in line with what your overall formatting is for the sheets, etc., and so on and so forth. Let's look at our presentation further. Okay, this is a way, this is a further highlighting which can be done. Okay. Now here's where we got our revenues from SEC filing. We downloaded these, copy pasted these numbers, and customized them as per our requirements. Okay, so I repeated this complete exercise and so on and so forth. Now for the projected years, for example, if you're preparing here cash flows as well, so those are to be pulled from the cash flow statements. So I'll keep this as empty because this should match with how I'm preparing my cash flow. But in this case, we haven't done. For example, if I'll take in my existing balance sheet for cash and cash equivalents and so on and so forth. So here I just have simply income statement balance sheet. So I'll keep it blank till the time I prepare my cash flow statements. Okay. Now in a similar way, we look at how does an income statement looks like. Okay, so it basically talks about particular period's financial performance. It can be quarterly, semi-annual, or a full year. It includes the inflows and outflows, the gains and losses, the appropriations, which we do, the costing of interest, depreciations, and so on and so forth. So it's a complete statement of where the cash is coming in or going out, and non-cash expenditures as well, the appropriations as well. And so, for example, this would give you a clear waterfall approach of how does the revenue is getting distributed. So I have revenue, and then out of this, we'll have to pay the wages, material costs, overhead, and depreciation. Now, my net income is nothing but once I deduct my wages, sales, this wages is for salaries, etc. Sales and marketing expenses, amortization, interest, income tax, deferred taxes, and finally, I'll get my net income. Okay, when I go back, that is if I add my taxes back, then I'll get a profit before tax. If I add my interest back, I'll get my earnings before interest and taxes. If I add my amortization back, I'll get my EBITDA, that is EBITDA. And finally, if I'll add my depreciation, I'll get EBITDA, that is EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The gross profit is simply the deduction of wages, materials, overhead, and the depreciations costs. Okay. Now, depreciation and deferred taxes are non-cash expenses, and so on and so forth. So it would give you a clear idea. When I'm talking about revenue, it includes the other income and other possible non-operating incomes as well. Okay, so this would give you a complete idea of how does the income statement gets divided into. Okay, in a similar way, we have prepared the balance sheet. We can prepare the income statement for LinkedIn. I'll show you how an income statement would look once we finalize it. Okay, this is a complete arena. We'll pick it up from our LinkedIn's income statement, take up the details for 12 and 11, take the revenues and various expenditures, and finally take it up till net income, okay, which is attributable to the common stockholders. That is after deducting any non-controlling interest. Okay, in this case, LinkedIn doesn't own any company between 50 and 100%. That's why minority interest is not coming. Okay, so non-controlling minority interest, both are same. So once I have figured out my non-controlling interest, I can pay them, and finally I'll get my net income. Okay, so this is a way, this has to be narrowed down or zeroed down, as you will say, into this particular statement. Okay, so we have picked up net revenues for 2012, 11 and 10, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn when it's coming to financial modeling. This is just the basic that we have learned. It will begin with this, the understanding of financial modeling, and then we'll go deep into cash flow statements, the equity statements, the statements for debt schedule, the asset schedules, finally valuations of comparables, valuations through trading comparables, precedent analysis, discounted cash flows, options valuation. Okay, so all possible valuation methods which we are using in the industry right now, that's what we are going to take it up, okay, and so on and so forth. Now, let's see what we have as in highlights for EduPristine's financial modeling masterclass in Dubai. It will be a full 4 days classroom training by industry experts. The best thing about these classes is all those experienced candidates from, or you can call it directors or VPs from the industry, will come forward to take the classes for financial modeling. So they are the ones who are playing with financial modeling day in and day out. Yeah, so the industry experts would take the full 4 days classroom training, 20 hours of video tutorials available at your disposal at any point of time, sample financial models, example workbooks, PDF guides, unfilled and filled, Excel templates for practice, 24/7 support for doubt clearing, and of course we are approved by GARP and CFA Institute for CE credit hours. Okay? Some of the highlights. Now, once we are done with financial modeling, what can we expect from a candidate? It's that you'd be in a position to create the robust models easily and most complex business structures. Okay, say for example oil and refinery. That also you would be in a position to prepare easily financial model for those kind of businesses. Okay, of course, and those would be error-free Excel reports. You would learn some of the less commonly known Excel features, and overall it would give you a complete grip onto understanding as well as application of financial modeling. Some of the details about our batch, it's starting from 21st February. The contact person is Mr. Imran Khan. Please note down his email address as well as the contact number. We'll show it to you at the end of session once more. Now, a few details about us. When we talk about EduPristine, we have given a training to more than 10,000 finance professionals across the world, with more than 40 nationalities in more than 40 plus locations. We are given training to the Fortune 500 companies like E&Y, Bank of America, JP Morgan candidates, and employees. We are authorized training provider for international certifications like CFA, FRM, PRM. offering 25 plus courses through classroom trainings, online videos, question banks, crash courses, webinars, etc. Our investors are SL Partners, Dr. Mark Mobius, one of the giants in bonds investments, Franklin Templeton. They head the Franklin Templeton divisions. And of course, our key strengths are that the experts from the industry are coming in to take up your sessions. Of course, you have a long durations, complete access to online library. That means you can access to various models, filled, unfilled, and so on and so forth. These are the authorizations which you got: CFA, GARP, FPB, Premier. Some of the corporates which where we have provided training, for example, in Franklin, we have took the training for CFA. In Credit Suisse India, we have took the training for risk management and quant analysis. In JP Morgan, we took a training of financial modeling in Excel for the real assets groups. And HSBC, again, we have took risk management and quant analysis. These are some of the institutions which we are associated with. These are the countries where we are currently operating and providing training to many finance professionals. Complete North America, major countries of South America, huge presence in Europe, Middle East, that is Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, apart from Dubai. And in Asia as well, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Burma, India, Mauritius from Africa, Kenya from Africa again, and Botswana, South Africa from Africa again. These are some of the courses which we cover: real estate modeling, portfolio management, investment banking, financial modeling, CFA, FRM, PRM, economics and markets, behavioral finance, wind power project modeling, and so on and so forth. That's a complete list. Depending on the requirements from the industry, we are offering the courses. Now, you'll have to contact Imran Khan. These are its credentials for further details. And thank you for joining in. Now you can post your questions. All the questions will be answered one-to-one basis depending upon their relevance.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, regarding the applicability, that means where it can be used, etc. It's used hardcore into investment banking, into private equity, into securities houses, into hedge funds, and so on and so forth. So if you are very good in financial modeling, there's a good chance that you'll be asked to prepare very specific models for the companies, and if you're in a position to do that, you can be easily promoted to the associates levels and above, wherein you can draw 70,000 US dollars to 90,000 US dollars plus 50 to 100% bonuses year on year. We have a question that is this the class will be conducted online? Of course not. The classroom, the details which we provided you for the 4 classroom trainings which we'll have, these are the details. So these sessions will be really extended throughout the day, and we'll be covering all the parts inside out when it comes to financial modeling. So it will begin with statement analysis, and then it will get extended to valuations, mergers and acquisitions, project financing, and so on and so forth. So it's a huge list.
Imran, are you still here?
Yeah.
Hi Imran, somebody is asking where these classes are available in Dubai.
Okay.
So could you please tell them where this class will be available in Dubai? Okay, Abdul, to answer your question, yes, we will have a classroom training in Dubai. We're just not entirely sure of the whereabouts right now, and I think Imran is facing some technical difficulty. You can get in touch with Imran directly. His email ID is imran@edupristine.com. So if you have any further queries, please write to him. He'll get back to you he'll be able to answer all your queries. And as for your question about whether the total duration is 4 days, there's a 2-day masterclass and there's a 4-day masterclass. No, I'm going to unmute you, Abdul, so you can pose your question. Just hold on.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this 4 days means 4 full days or it's a part-time basis? Because 4 days we will be working here also, no?
Abdul, am I audible to you? This is Imran.
Yeah, Imran, tell me.
Abdul, this will be a full day of class from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, and this will be conducted on the weekends only, Fridays and Saturdays.
So it will be like alternative, is one Friday, Saturday, then the next Friday, Saturday, like that.
Yeah, sure. First 2 days of the basic classes will be taken on the first weekend, and the next advanced level will be taken on the second weekend. And I was sorry for the interruption because
that's okay, no problem.
Yeah, so you can get the venue details. That's Dubai Center Dolphin Training Center Al Hamar. Okay, that is A building 4th floor, unit number 402.
Where is properly that Dubai Center? Where? In the Dubai?
The landmark is Karma Mall. Okay, I will be sending you.
Karama Mall. Okay.
Yeah, Karama Mall.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send you the location map also.
But one question is that suppose most of the guys will have off in Fridays only, not Saturdays. Because for example, for me, I have off in Friday only, not Saturday. So in that case, what you will do? Should I take one more additional off from the office?
I will suggest you to take an off from the office because we are conducting the sessions on Friday and Saturday only. We got to know that there will be week off Friday and Saturday.
So this is actually, you mean 6 classes or 4 classes? If I take the 4, what is the exclusive 2-day masterclass and what is 4-day masterclass? What does that mean?
Yeah, the main difference in the level of advancement means from the first 2 days you will be learning the basics of financial modeling, and in the last 2 days you will be learning the advanced financial modeling.
Okay. So it is basically 4 days class, not 6 days.
4 days, not 6 days.
But there is option only to take the basic or to take the full.
Yeah, there is the option of taking the first 2 days only. Okay, that will be a basic financial modeling class, and if you want to take
that is $897, you mean?
Yeah, that is $897.
And if I take the full, then it will be 4 days, 1197.
Yeah, 1197. Along with that, we will be giving you the online access of the financial modeling course.
Where is this company basically situated, in India or US?
Yeah, this company is situated in India, and we also have our partnership in USA as well as in Dubai also.
Okay. So it's coming around 4,400 something in UAE dirhams.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Okay. So when is your next batch starting?
The batch is starting from 21st of Feb 2014.
21st Feb. So every month there will be new classes coming, or this is?
Yeah, sure. Every month they are scheduling batches for Dubai.
So there will be many other candidates also in the class, not only one.
Yeah, not only one.
Okay. So but now the many firms, they will have like SAP or Tally or whatever it is, ERP software is available. So the financials will be already readily there. No? So what is the use? Why should we learn Excel itself?
Okay, Ravi, can you answer to this question?
Yes, I heard it very clearly. See, Abdul, what we did just now is, I mean, once you are done with these classes, you would be in a position to do that in 10 minutes time. The thing is, when we are talking about the first 2 days of financial modeling, it's not just restricted to the financial statements. Okay, let me show you one model. Okay, we are not restricting ourselves to. Okay, this is the complete financial model of LinkedIn. Now see the different kind of graphs which we have prepared. It's used inside a pitch book. Okay, pitch book is used for doing various transactions inside investment banking. Yeah, so you can use this for pitch book or a research report completely. So these kind of analysis and preparation of charts and dynamic reports, yeah, there's a complete valuation of LinkedIn. You cannot get this done through Tally or any other software. You require the understanding of the candidate only. So see the profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow statements, ratios, valuations, comparable valuations. So these methods, and finally the football field charts. So preparation of this complete model, if you'll ask a new person, which is not from the field, he'll take at least 4 to 5 days. But if you are done with these classes, you can finish this in 5 hours timing or 6 hours timing. Okay, if you are good in this, then only you will be paid $180,000 plus 50% or 90% kind of bonuses from investment banks. Okay, so these kind of dynamic charts, the moment, suppose I change this to 15%, okay, the whole valuation should change.
These sheets are already interlinked in between. You mean if we change the basic sheet, then everything will change accordingly in the remaining.
Yes. So it's just the beginning. It's for one company. Then you learn project financing. Then you learn it for how does a merger transactions model work. Okay, so those are different details. So it's dynamic, basically. So it's just the beginning. What you saw is a 15-minute thing out of the 9-hour session which you're going to have.
Okay.
Okay, and let me tell you, my own experience. I'm an ex-UBS guy. We are advising clients for transactions ranging from $25 million to $250 million for project financing as well as for fundraising through different methods of fund-based and non-fund-based facilities. Now, when we hire employees for our own firm, Investment Imperatives, we do hire the ones which are already having this knowledge, because in putting training hours in making a person learn the financial modeling or valuation is it's a heavy resource to deploy. So firms are looking for ready-made candidates. Okay, so if you can prepare this model through this financial modeling classes, and you go inside a firm to take up a job in a good bulge bracket or a good investment bank, be it of Dubai or international, okay, in both the cases you will have an edge over any other candidate. Okay, assuming that you have got good fundamentals knowledge. So it's not just fundamentals knowledge that's going to be helpful. You should be in a position to apply that in form of a model. You note down these credentials, and if you have any questions, just email, call them.
I have that email,
Yeah.
The same email where I got the link for this webinar, no? The same.
Yes.
Webinar notification critics online, right?
Yeah, you can note down this email ID, imran@edupristine.com. I will be there to solve all your queries.
That email won't work. That is only for the webinar. So don't use that email. Just use this email.
Yeah, the Citrix one is not to get in touch with us. To get in touch with us, you need to use Imran's ID, imran@edupristine.com.
Okay.
I guess because of Abdul's queries, others are also getting answered. That's good. Okay, Abdul, everything is clear, or you have any further queries?
No, basically I am just a BCom graduate only, so I'm not sure how effectively I can learn all these within the time span of 4 days, even though I'm working as accountant here.
Okay, then if you want to foray into further valuations, etc., then of course this would be helpful. As far as how do you learn, that's why the gap of 1 week has been given. So you take 2 sessions, take 5 days in between, work upon them, practice upon them, and again come back for the advanced class. Otherwise, we would have kept it 4 days in row, but we haven't, because we wanted to give you a time of a week.
Any further questions? Does anyone have any further questions?
Please feel free to ask.
I am unmuting you, A. Salman. I don't quite understand what you just said. Could you just repeat your question? I have unmuted you. Okay, does anyone have any more questions? Okay, if nobody has any further questions, I think we can end this webinar.
Sure, Alicia.
Thanks for coming, everyone. We hope you've learned something. And if you have any queries, do get back to us. We're always ready to help you and answer whatever queries you may have. Thank you, Ravi, for presenting this webinar.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good day. Are you still here, Mr. A. Salman? Imran?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, somebody asked a question. He said, does your company sponsor company financing in the UK, or are you only operating in the USA, India and Gulf regions?
Pardon, please. I didn't get that.
He asked, does your company sponsor company financing in the UK, or are you only operating in the USA, India and Gulf regions?
We have our training stations in UK.
Okay, he says, thank you. If you have any more queries, you can always write to us. You can write to imran@edupristine.com.
We are also offering the corporate trainings.
I think our time is over. I think we need to end the session now. Thank you for coming, everyone. Yes, there is an opportunity to see a recording of this video. I will be uploading it in about half an hour, so you can watch it after that.
Can you also suggest where they can see that?
It will be there on this website itself. I think when they visit the link, the same link, I think they will be redirected to the recording. And thank you for coming, everyone. I will now terminate this webinar. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Imran. Have a good day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.